So in case you weren't already aware, it is Venus and Mercury retrograde at the moment. So, ouchie. We're going to start with a client testimonial. This is from Miss G. Kind of dramatic. Subject line says, "You saved me from a potential car accident." 3 exclamation points. So let's get into it. Miss G says, "Hi, Andy. I just wanted to report one quick but very important follow-up message not even a full day after my reading. Yesterday, you were emphasizing that splurging on necessities is very necessary, especially for cars. Wouldn't you know it that after driving 5 minutes from my house, my car started acting wonky and my dashboard lit up. After making an appointment for my car and talking to a mechanic, I'm looking at a potential transmission issue. Without your help, I would not have taken this as seriously or thought it was something as serious as the transmission. You also brought up the name Jackie, and this was the name of the worker that scheduled me. Thank you so much again, and I can't wait to report more feedback. Best, Miss G." So, oh shit. Kind of how that makes me feel. It's very normal for departed people to pop into readings and be like, hey, look out for this thing that's kind of important. You know, home repairs, car issues, sometimes medical things, sometimes just weird stuff happening at work, you know, disgruntled coworker, whatever. There's all kinds of ways in which departed people can support us in our day-to-day living. And I'm so sorry to hear that, Miss G. That sucks. I'm not going to lie to you, like, my guides would also have to inform me that I should call and make an appointment for a mechanic. Because if my dashboard lit up and my car started acting wonky, I would be like, oh, weird. I would just drive it till the doors fell off. So, yeah. If you guys were curious about that, yes, our departed loved ones know when we're going to blow something off that we shouldn't. So that's the kind of thing that can come up in a reading. So I'm going to try to go about this podcasting thing in a more organized fashion than I typically would. I have segments now. That's what all the cool kids in podcasting are doing. They're doing segments. So I haven't named all of these segments yet, and some segments may come and go. Others might be more like mainstay every single episode segments. But I'm just going to run down the segments we have for this episode. I have a things that ticked me off on the internet this week segment. That one's probably going to be a recurring segment every episode. I've been informed that I need like a vent for my scorpionic rage, and what better place than a podcast? Hopefully you guys are as chronically online as I am, and we're all going to be mad about the same things at the same time. And if not, I guess you'll just skip past that segment. Okay, of course I have a frequently asked questions segment where I talk about mediumship, psychic stuff, intuitive development, meditation, manifesting, all the normal metaphysical goodies you expect from this podcast. And then I have another segment that I haven't named yet, but it's basically the dating, relationship, and wrangling misogynist segment. It's kind of a mouthful. I need to rename it. But that's where we're going to talk about all the normal, you know, misandrist, man-hater content. And you guys know I'm not a misandrist. I just don't like certain trends I'm observing in society, and neither should you. So we're going to talk about that in that segment. And then there is the housekeeping segment where I tell you where to find client testimonials, where to schedule readings, where to attend group events, and where to find me on other social media platforms. So that will obviously be at the end. And those are all the segments for this episode. So let's jump into the things that ticked me off on the internet this week segment. I have 3 things here that rubbed me the wrong way. The first of which being parasocial relationships with celebrities and podcast hosts and entertainers and public figures. Don't engage in parasocial relationships. The fact that podcasts and podcast hosts played a significant role in who got elected as president of the United States this time goes to show you just how deep these parasocial relationships go. Like, celebrities are showing you a highly curated sliver of their personality, if not an outright facade. It's because someone like profits from projecting a certain aspect of their personality to the world, doesn't mean that that's the entirety of how they feel or think on the inside. And if they have beliefs that are different from our own, we should expect that because we don't actually know them. Like when people claim to understand the choices and the inner workings of someone who's nowhere near their own personal tax bracket, it drives me absolutely crazy. And the second thing on my things that ticked me off on the internet this week list is everyone giving Millie Bobby Brown a hard time for going blonde. The psychology behind why a person would make a comment like that to someone they don't know personally, that's what bothers me. They are making a comment because they themselves are susceptible to the comments of other people. Like, this is how I felt personally when people were sending me weird comments like, well, you looked better as a brunette. Do you let people in your life talk to you like that? If you do, you might want to reevaluate that. Because if someone is making a comment to you, what they're doing is they're basically just admitting that they are malleable according to the needs, preferences, and whims of the people around them. So I'm concerned that there are that many people out there in the world who let other people's comments control their appearance. That's crazy. That's awful. For the sake of feminism, I'm so sad to hear that. And the third thing that ticked me off on the internet this week is all the discourse around skinny TikTok and people saying that, it's unhealthy and it's bad. And I'm going to say, if you need tough love strategies and philosophies to motivate yourself, take what resonates and leave the rest, basically. I am a little concerned about the undercurrent of approval seeking and seeking male validation that I see in some of the skinny TikTok content. I didn't know skinny TikTok existed until people started making videos about it, but I do have over a decade of gym ratdom, on my resume. I have done a figure competition. I used to live in the gym. But I'm going to say, if you are the kind of person who benefits from tough love strategies to motivate yourself, fine. Just hang out on the skinny TikTok. But if you do decide to get in shape, lose weight, or make some big aesthetic change, just make sure it's for you. It's not for men. It is never for men. And next up is the frequently asked questions segment. For those of you who are kind of unfamiliar with my street cred in this area, I've been doing live Q&A sessions multiple nights per week, every single week for years. When I say frequently asked question, I mean I've been asked this question possibly hundreds of times. So that's where I'm coming from there. And when I can, I tie it back to a live reading I've done previously or a client testimonial that I have posted where people can listen to my answer to the question and then go watch it happen in a reading. So let's talk about seeing departed people or receiving visual information about departed people. The question is usually phrased something to the effect of, can I see departed people during readings? And the short answer is yes. Departed people choose what information they give us about themselves, but they will usually provide some visual information about their appearance because that is something that I can pick up on pretty darn easily. I am very clairvoyant, so they can give us height, weight, body composition, facial hair, hairstyle, hair color, tattoos, piercings, any distinctive physical characteristics. Sometimes they'll show me, injuries, incisions, anything that would help you easily identify them. And then they'll start talking about clothing, accessories. Maybe they'll talk about an outfit they were photographed in, or they'll talk about, maybe something from their closet that you inherited. That's just good factual information to clearly identify the person coming through. That's the way I would normally cover that question when asked it in an off-the-cuff, spontaneous manner in a Q&A session. But there's a couple things that I don't normally touch on, and that's when they start describing facial features. This is a really kind of a niche thing, and I don't know if it's because I'm an artist and I spend a lot of time staring at people's facial proportions or whatever, but if they have traits that the person I'm reading for inherited, they'll usually bring that up. They'll show me oh, see the shape of the nose? She's got my nose, or something cute like that. Or if They did have a very distinctive style. They'll like explain why that they made that choice. There's a really cute reading I have posted on my TikTok profile where the person who received the reading was given information about how the departed relative coming through had a weak upper lip, and it was like an inside joke within the family. And he was talking about not just that he had a bushy mustache, but why he had the mustache. He had the big bushy mustache to hide his weak upper lip. So that's the kind of thing that can come up in a good, like, evidence-focused reading. And the next segment is the man-hater segment. I need to come up with a better name for it, don't I? This is the dating and relationship segment of the podcast. And what I wanted to talk about this segment is the fact that it is springtime and there's going to be a lot of breakups this month, probably a lot of single people by Easter. I feel like the brunt of the breaking up happens, right after St. Patty's and before Easter. So, people who get into relationships with the best of intentions sometimes have a hard time leaving that relationship because, they're questioning their own motives. It's like, oh, is this selfish? Oh, should I try harder? Oh, should I do more to make this work? Here's some additional criteria you can consider, especially as a woman, before you bail on a relationship. Is that man helping you towards your goals, or is he just not actively sabotaging you? Because we all know that, a shocking number of men are very comfortable actively sabotaging their partner's ambitions and goals. We all know about the active sabotage thing that happens. But something that I think a lot of people bypass or brush off is this sort of passively not helping. A shocking number of women are very content with men who simply aren't an active hindrance, when really the fact that that person is not being more actively helpful is the sabotage, is the hindrance. While he might not be taking away, he's also not adding, at which point, what the fuck good is he? Sorry. But the question becomes, is he helping or is he just not hurting? So consider that criteria if you're thinking about a relationship change, because especially as a woman, especially before children become involved, you want to make sure that he doesn't become dead weight. Most of my clients are either in the aftermath of or coming to the realization that they partnered with dead weight for too long. Maybe that question will help you clarify if you're in a good relationship or if you're just not in a bad relationship. Hear the difference there? Okay, if you would like to schedule a private reading with me, I do have 30-minute psychic sessions available and then 45, 60, and 75-minute mediumship sessions available. Please book the session that you actually need and want. Please do not book a psychic session expecting mediumship. If you need mediumship, please schedule a mediumship session. Please follow me on TikTok for, however long we may have left with it. Got another band deadline coming up, I think. Today is March 16th, so we're coming up on that April deadline. But yeah, if you'd like to follow me on TikTok, that's where I do the majority of my live readings. If you don't have the Evolve Plus app, you might consider grabbing it. It's the app started by John Edward. He kind of curates the content and makes sure you're getting good, evidence-based, reliable information about beginner-friendly spiritual topics like tarot, astrology, psychic stuff, mediumship, mindfulness, grief, all the things you'd expect to see on a well-rounded spiritual app. So again, that's the Evolve Plus app. You can find it in your app store. I'm on YouTube, Andy Ray Psychic Medium. If you're watching this with your eyeballs, you're probably already on YouTube, so hit that subscribe button. You can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and of course the audio-visual version on YouTube. That's everything I have for now. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next episode. Toodles.